All right, back on the Young Turks. Look, Johnny Pie's back. Anna's going to get ballot measures for you guys. We've got a lot of poll closings coming up in 5 minutes. Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., Florida, Panhandle, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, very important, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, very important, Rhode Island, Tennessee, are all coming up in 5 minutes. But now, while we were in the break, Donald Trump's lead in Florida grew to 3%. And we had a little bit of, Wheezy, I'm coming to join you, right? But during the break, that has already changed. So, Ben, what's the latest in Florida?
Well, 17% precincts reporting. But again, that's a vote today, clearly, because we're already at 6.4 million votes counted. And they voted
17% on top of the early voting, which is a giant chunk that is not counted in the percentage.
That's 75% of who voted in 2012. So obviously that's not 17% of the electorate.
Yeah.
So and it looks to me like they'll probably go over what they got last time. But anyway, Hillary Clinton at 3,328,000 to 3,135,000. So 193,000 vote lead.
Which means if I understand percentages, which I don't, that the raw vote number will move more slowly than the percentage counted number moved. Since a larger number is already baked into that.
That's right.
Yeah, I understood that because I'm working on my PhD.
Her number, by the way,
whenever you guys
it's changing dramatically as we go. Like
they do.
Anyway, it just dropped, but not much, down to 167,000. But obviously, votes are coming in. They're clearly counting very rapidly. Early votes are being reported.
John and Ben, you guys are confusing us with all your thing. What is the percentage? What is the percentage?
49.8, 2.5 points, 2.4 point lead for Hillary.
She has a 2.4 point lead. Everybody.
Yes.
Don't panic. She's here comes Hillary.
And just an example of what happens probably around the country is that Jill Stein is not registering, or at least is lower than 2, and Gary Johnson's at 2%. In a state that he polled higher than, like it just people come to the polls, many people, not everyone at this table, but they go to the polls and think, I got to vote for somebody who might win this, and then that's why the numbers for those third-party candidates go down.
Several states that have a significant percentage in, Gary Johnson is at almost 5.
Is that right?
Yeah, which is significant.
Are they more deep red states?
Well, Indiana, he's at almost 5, and that's a third in. Vermont, he's at 4. New Hampshire, he's at 4. West Virginia 3. So I mean, he's registering on these
Hillary
states.
Clinton with 5% reporting in New Hampshire, I guess. But we have polls closing at 8. I don't know what that's about. But they already have some vote counted in New Hampshire. Maybe there was some early votes there. But she's up 5,000 votes and 16 percentage points in New Hampshire. North Carolina, she 2% reporting. There was a bunch of early votes there. I don't know whether we just don't know whether these are early votes or precinct votes, but probably early votes. She's up by 100,000 votes, 52% to 45% in North Carolina. She's actually taken the lead in Ohio, super early, less than 1%, although some significant numbers, significant in the most limited sense, 250,000 to 200,000, basically. She's ahead in Ohio.
Okay, so if you are on the Trump team, right now you're panicking.
Right.
You had the same moment we had about 20 minutes ago where you're like, wait a minute, she's not only up in Florida, but she's up in New Hampshire,
North Carolina,
Ohio, and North Carolina. We didn't do North Carolina, did we?
I did North Carolina, yeah.
How many points?
Ohio's
52-46. Ohio's crazy early. North Carolina at 52% to 46%. 2% in, but that's clearly, again, like Florida, that's not 2% because that's 1.5 million votes already. That's not 2% in North Carolina.
Yeah. And so also the vote, so look, guys, where the votes come from in the state matters a lot, et cetera. So you can't extrapolate too much from any of these. They could easily go up and down, as they already have. But there's real and not real, right? So the amount of votes in Florida is definitely real. In North Carolina, it's real, right? In Ohio, not
it's
real.
Nothing, yeah.
New Hampshire, I would count as not real.
Exactly. We should understand some states they're full of people, and so stuff comes in steadily, and generally the ratio can stay similar. Some places have one big city or two big cities, and then all of a sudden a huge amount can change. I mean, we know in Florida, the Panhandle closes an hour later, so theoretically, I believe that's more conservative generally.
It's because they're
coming in late.
It's the South. It's super conservative.
Well, it's because the Panhandle is so stupid they forget to turn their clocks back. Am I
But
wrong
we
about
also,
this?
and bear in mind,
No, that's
so
Jimmy. No, you have a little. It's
They would
based
go-
on. It's based on the lines.
So we believe that early voting probably benefited Hillary Clinton, which means that the day of voting might benefit Donald Trump, which means that these results could change near the end. But also, a lot of big cities will leave polling places open, especially because there's such long lines, because we don't
And they're just
care
slow,
about
they're
voting in this
almost
country.
always slower to count. They just aren't
Exactly,
more
and
people.
so that can come out at the end, which
If
is
you
more
look in,
democratic.
if you dial in on Florida, already now votes counted from the 3 counties, from West Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County. Those are the 3 counties in southeast Florida, from Palm Beach down to Miami, massively for Clinton, as it always is.
Okay, so based on what you guys are saying, 3 things went through my head. Number one, good news. We did not get any reports of voter intimidation and suppression in Pennsylvania.
Sad day for Roger Stone.
Yeah, so we sent Nomi Konst to Philadelphia to try to figure out if there was any voter intimidation, poll watchers coming to intimidate minority voters in Philadelphia. And she went and talked to the Democrats there. They got her to the places where they have the longest lines, et cetera. So she really did her due diligence there. So far, I've not heard back any wrongdoing. So that's great news. And so we'll, reserve the right to check in with her later, see, et cetera. But for the moment being, that looks good, okay? Second of all, when John pointed out that the Panhandle is more conservative, which we know, but I had forgotten when I got relieved by the Florida vote where that she was up 2.5%, that the Panhandle had not reported in yet.
I also believe it's
has
a
not
relatively-
the polls have not closed in the Panhandle
Yeah,
yet.
but it's
So-
also a smaller portion of the population.
Yeah, it's not.
yeah, that's a great point. No, I'm back to panicking.
Okay,
Yeah.
real
Oh
quick.
no! I mean, 10 minutes we could be freaking out. I mean, we shouldn't,
You
obviously.
know that feeling you had,
offense.
Cenk? I have that all day and night.
Either way.
I voted for Jill Stein, so I have a little sympathy over here. I hear these numbers, I'm like, every way, no matter which way.
Regarding North Carolina, which we have Clinton up 100,000 votes, 904,000 to 808,000. Again, it says 2% reporting, but that's 1.7 million votes. And 4.4 million people voted in 2012. And their early turnout numbers were down in North Carolina. Those could happen for a host of reasons, but nonetheless, including that decision they made about opening the polls on the last Sunday before the election, which could have suppressed some turnout, which hopefully will increase turnout today. But again, 1.7 million votes out of 4.4 million, it's a significant number of votes, and she's up 5 points, 51.5 to 44. We've had another declaration of a state here.
Okay, what's on the board, Ben?
Well, Hillary Clinton has scored 21 straight points.
Yes.
And let me make sure I get
That's
these.
7 3-pointers.
She hit 7 straight 3-pointers. And the states now called for Hillary Clinton are the state of Maryland has been called for Hillary Clinton. I am going to presume that also counts the District of Columbia.
They also won the Senate race. in
No, they have
Maryland.
not called the District of Columbia yet. They have called Massachusetts and Maryland for Hillary Clinton.
And on that board, New Jersey.
And on that board, is that right?
That's what it
Yeah,
says
yeah,
there.
that's for, and they've also called something new for
Oklahoma
Trump.
for Trump.
Oklahoma for,
I thought we had it. Maybe in 4 more years.
gotta get the board.
4 more.
Gotta get the board.
Okay, so Maryland and New Jersey, super comfortable. Hillary Clinton wins. We knew that from day one. Oklahoma, super comfortable win for Donald Trump. None of that is surprising. Swing states are where you got to look for, yes.
Did they have any updates on the ballot initiatives?
Okay.
Thank you, John. I
Okay.
really appreciate
Anna
that.
is here
we
with
could
the-
keep talking about Florida, though, and what we think is going to happen.
Yes.
Don't tempt me.
Actually, we will. But,
Yeah.
okay, hold. Before we go to the ballot measures, can I see 75,000? We're at we're right around almost at 70,000 concurrent viewers between YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So we are triple streaming. It's the first triple stream in world history. Sorry, it just happened, okay? Right here on the Young Turks. And so share, okay? Sharing is caring. That's what my kids tell me. Until, of course, they have to share a toy. And then all of a sudden, not as much. Anyway, share on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, and on YouTube. There's a share button. You'll see you can share across many different platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can embed the link. You got a website, you got a blog, embed it. Send the link as an email to your family and friends. As you can tell already, anybody who's been watching this, no one is more excited about this election than we are. It's a roller coaster ride. There will be either jubilation or absolute despondency. We will go way over 100,000 if Trump wins, because every Trump supporter will turn to the Young Turks to see us bemoaning what has happened to the country, etc. And we will bemoan if that is what in fact happens. By the way, if we get to 100,000 viewers, we're giving away 100 Young Turks baseball caps. These are not a Shop TYT. This is only chance is, and by the way, we're giving to 100 random people who shared. So we're going to look through the sharing files. There's this amazing new thing called a computer that allows you to do that fast. Republicans are going, impossible. How could you look through all those shares in this limited a time period? It's impossible.
How could Microsoft Word check every word in a document in 10 seconds?
Yeah, impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. Okay, but at Shop TYT, we do have an awesome poster about the Dakota Access Pipeline and Standing Rock, and those are limited edition, and they're going today as well. So shoptyt.com on that. Oh, there it is. Defend the land. And
That's really good.
That's really nice.
yeah, that's gorgeous.
He's talented.
Yeah, that's
He's very talented.
Who did that?
Absent.
Ali.
Ali did that?
Sorry, absent.
Yeah, we're not supposed to say who it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. It's street artist in LA / art graphic artist. Okay. But he is. He's a well-respected street artist.
Yeah, no, he's amazing.
He also did the Bernie So Punk shirts.
Which is popular.
And Protect the Sacred. So, all right. And membership makes all this possible. There is a second stream where we're giving you extra content for the members as well. And you go to membership by tytnetwork.com/join. tytnetwork.com/join. Become a member. Make this independent media possible. I've lost track. Have we been on air for 7 hours? Yeah, and we've got another 5 to go today at least, okay? And I feel like we're just getting started because the results are coming in. And the minute we start reading results, my juices start pumping. Like, I was, more jubilant, yelling, screaming earlier. And now a nervous Paul has kind of come over me like, I've been saying for a week as the bad polls are coming in, brace for impact. But like as Ben or John read the polls, I'm like literally like bracing, like, okay, let's see what happens next.
Two states that don't matter, D.C. and Delaware. Clinton.
Clinton, she now has the lead. Here comes Hillary. She's got the lead. Okay, but at the 8 o'clock hour, which we've now passed, a lot of the South is going to come in. This is like the Democratic primary, where the South came in early for Hillary Clinton. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Okay,
Ooh.
and so don't stumble. Now a lot of those southern states will go for Donald Trump. If it's not a swing state, it doesn't mean anything because that's already baked into the calculations. Okay. All right, Anna, ballot measures. Go.
All right, thanks God. All right, so there's a number of controversial ballot measures that voters will be voting on, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't like the way the Electoral College works, but ballot initiatives, if you research them properly, give you more power to decide how your state is governed, how things will impact you. So just to give you a quick rundown of what's happening throughout the country, marijuana. A number of states are trying to legalize marijuana either for medicinal use or for recreational use. About 82 million residents could have access to legalized pot. When it comes to, it's amazing. Minimum wage, that's a ballot initiative in various states as well. 21.6 million residents live in states that could increase the minimum wage. Gun control is also something that a lot of people will be voting on. About 50.5 million residents could be subject to additional gun control regulations. And then finally, taxes. 123.3 million residents could see their taxes change in policies. So let's talk about some of the ballot initiatives that stood out to me the most, okay? So there's one in Florida, which is very deceptively referred to as yes on one for the sun. So it makes it seem as though it's very much in favor of funding solar power in Florida. It's very much in favor of giving residents the option of solar power. But if you look at that chart, you'll see that major utility companies are in favor of it. In fact, they're the ones who are pushing for it, they're funding it, and as a result, it's likely to pass. Now, why is one in Florida a bad ballot measure? Well, the utility-backed ballot initiative would continue to restrict the solar market in Florida by writing into the state constitution, okay, so that's a big deal, that homeowners and businesses cannot use third-party solar leases. The state's restrictive monopoly utility law forbids anyone but the power companies from buying and selling electricity. Landlords cannot sell power from solar panels to tenants. Popular solar leasing programs like those offered by Solar City and Sunrun are outlawed. So in essence, it's written in the ballot as if it gives residents in Florida more of an option for renewable energy, but it does the exact opposite. And it will be written into the state's constitution.
I think that, here's what you need, here's what real leadership is in the country. I get it that, right, we can't, the Koch brothers and all those companies, all those energy companies are allowed to pour money into a proposition that they want passed, right? But we can have a law where they don't get to name it. Like there could be an independent commission that decides, no, we decide what we call one, and
or what your group is called.
What your group is called, or how we're going to phrase this, or how it's going to be billed, and that could change everything because it's so easy to deceive people. Because
you know how we do this? We have a proposition. I think we call it the proposition to help regular people vote or something.
Well, we already have something like this in that we have commissions in many states that go over the wording of the proposition because they understand that in the past they've been incredibly intentionally deceitful.
I mean, the notion that you can sell a proposition the same way you sell Diet Orange Crush is nauseating. Like, that's not right.
No, but here's the incredible thing. People who advertise Diet Orange Crush cannot lie in their advertisements.
That's right.
It's the exact opposite when it comes to these propositions or political ads.
Yeah.
This is so deceptive. And so there are people out there, and understand what these utility companies are doing and why they're doing it. They understand that renewable energy is in the future because the way that we're running things right now is not sustainable. So they want a monopoly over renewable energy in the future. They want to ensure that they continue to make the money that they're making now, even if we switch over to renewable energy.
So, a really important thing here to point out, real quick, is money in politics. So it gets poured in by ExxonMobil, Koch Industries to try to deceive you. So you think like, hey, what's the effect of money in politics? The effect is they buy ads which tell you the opposite. If they thought they were right, they wouldn't have to play games. They wouldn't have to tell you the opposite. So they know that solar energy is popular, so they pretend they're on the side of polar energy. How do they trick you? With all the money put into commercials. And this is the definition of crony capitalism. They're literally trying to outlaw their competition.
Yes.
Remember, the Koch brothers are the ones who claim to be libertarian and say, oh, free market. All we want is a free market. They are monumentally full of crap. So the minute they have an opportunity to rig the system and to kill off their competition by using the government, that is exactly what they do. And that's what they're doing in that ballot measure. And it's deplorable. And so know the reality and don't buy into their hype.
By the way, one in Florida has a 67% chance of passing. That's based on, meta-analysis of various polls. And the reason why is because utility companies have spent a whopping $26 million in order to pass it. And, the opposition to this ballot measure did not raise nearly close to that amount of money.
And what's amazing is that we subsidize these traditional energy companies. Then they get to use a portion of the money we've handed them to destroy up-and-coming industries that could use subsidies.
That's right. It's a vicious cycle of crony capitalism. And so when the Supreme Court says, what, money's just speech. No, it buys you a bigger megaphone. And with their bigger megaphone, they were allowed to pretend that they're on the opposite side of the issue to trick you into voting for something you thought you wanted, but it will do the exact opposite. It's grotesque.
So can I give you an example of where money in politics didn't work when it came to ballot measures this time around? Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, there are various states that are trying to legalize marijuana for either recreational use or medicinal use. In Massachusetts, they have a ballot measure to legalize marijuana. And the Catholic Church in the state got involved because they do not want to legalize marijuana. They spent nearly $1 million to defeat that proposal. And as soon as they did that, the polls switched. At first, the majority of people who were polled opposed legalizing marijuana. Catholic Church gets involved. I don't know if it's causation there, but they spend nearly $1 million, and now all of a sudden, pro-marijuana legalization is winning. So we'll see how it works in Massachusetts, but I thought that was hilarious. And by the way, this is one of the few times that the Catholic Church has spent so much money on a ballot measure.
What state was that?
Massachusetts.
So here in California, there's a bishop from San Francisco who's also against the legalization of marijuana. He had a DUI in 2012.
Of course. Okay, John, call.
Yeah, so if you could bring up in the control room graphic 41A, we have a Senate call.
Oh,
This
that's
is a fun one. We knew this was going to happen. But 41A. Marco Rubio is, no, 41A. Then, yeah, Marco Rubio is expected that he will maintain his seat. It was almost certainly going to happen.
Yeah,
Thanks,
but
guys.
there was a, as I said, it was like a 13% chance. So you hope, hey, what if Clinton has a great day? And
Now, Patrick Murphy beat the big progressive Ellen Grayson, right? Wasn't that the guy he beat down in Florida?
Yeah.
He beat him pretty good, too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And I forget if you may have already called this the ballot initiative in Florida, the marijuana.
Okay,
It's been called
hold.
too.
There's
no, I
a state that's been called. I know it's not surprising, but we want to give you
I
all
put it
the
up already.
calls. South Carolina has been called.
Yeah, let's take a look.
That's for
Here we go.
Donald Trump.
there we go. There's your board. No, that's bullshit, that board.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a board.
Also, Florida has tightened up significantly.
Yeah, Florida's tightened up significantly. So it's 44-40, Clinton and Trump, and 6 states for Clinton and 5 there. For,
Okay, so let me get to the tight states. So I'm definitely panicking a little bit. There's 2 states that are over 40% reporting, and neither one of them is good right now. Virginia, she's leading in New Hampshire and North Carolina, but that's just 6 and 7% reporting. It's a little bit more complicated than that because of the early voting. But Virginia, there's 40% reporting. Trump's got a 52-43 lead. Now, remember,
122,000 votes.
yeah, 52-43 lead. That's a big 9-point lead. But remember, Virginia is very split. So if it's Northern Virginia has not come in, it'll make a big, big difference.
And we know that came in last because we were sitting right here in the equivalent of these chairs in 2006 when Jim Webb just closed and closed and closed and closed and passed George Allen.
Yeah.
That's when that was his favorite opponent, the one he murdered. No, I'm kidding. But that was an amazing victory for Jim Webb. That was a great night. Now in Florida, with 59% reporting,
Oh my God.
and on top of that is the early voting, 49-49.
It's within 4,000 votes out of 8 million.
What were the chances that Florida would be this close? Unprecedented.
What's the percentage? I'm terrible at percentage.
I'm pretty sure that one
so
is
so close, razor thin.
I'm pretty sure that one is precedented. Okay, so here we are again in Florida. So now look, if she wins Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado, she does not need Florida. So I've been emphasizing that in the coverage for the last 3 weeks. I told you the critical states for Hillary Clinton are Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado. And I called the election for her 3 weeks ago because she had a sizable lead in all 3 of those states. One that I thought she could withstand a heavy blow and still win.
Yeah.
She got a heavy blow from James Comey afterwards, and he kind of flipped around at the end there. Will she be able to withstand it? We'd have to see. But the other reason why Florida, you could look at a half cup, a half empty or half full, is that if she wins Florida, then she's almost certainly going to win the election. She could lose Pennsylvania and still win if she wins Florida. So if you're Hillary Clinton, that 49-49 tie right now in Florida is not so bad.
Yeah.
No,
And by the way, when we talk about third parties, I mean, we often talk about the influence of like lib third parties on the Democratic Party. But right now, Florida's 4,000 votes off, and Gary Johnson's got 2.1% of the vote, almost 200,000 votes. Those are people who are probably more likely to be conservative. If he had that, he'd be winning fairly comfortably right now.
Could Gary Johnson be the Ralph Nader of the Republican Party in 2016? I said it. I threw it out there. Now it's floating in space. Okay, Anna.
Yes.
The marijuana ballot
Yeah.
measure in Florida?
So let's talk a little bit about Florida. They legalized marijuana for medicinal use. About 70% voted in favor of it.
So that just happened. That's
That
now
just
official.
happened. It's official. People in Florida want their marijuana, but only for medicinal use. Remember, during the midterm elections, they had a ballot measure that would have legalized it completely, and it lost by a tiny, tiny margin.
Who
So
poured the
Next
money?
time.
Who dumped the money in there? What guy who didn't make
It
any
was
sense?
Sheldon Adelson.
Sheldon Adelson dumped
And
that money.
it actually won a majority of the vote, but they have this weird thing where you had to get a 2/3 vote.
That's right. It had to
a
get
super
2/3.
majority. I
Yeah,
believe.
it was
This
some
just
crazy-
needed. This just needs the majority. And of course,
Yeah.
look, if it's medical and it's dispensed the way it is here,
Yeah.
It's legal.
it's legal.
And,
That's
and
right.
this is a state that needs it because they have a huge pain medication
Yes.
problem with people
Also,
overdosing.
needs
and
it for-
they could use some weed.
Hillbilly
Also
heroin.
needs it because those people every day they live in Florida.
Yeah, that's the best point.
Every day.
That was the
I
best
know.
point made on the show so far.
You know, if you got the
Into
Zika,
white
you're going to
history.
need a little weed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to an old World War II.
Wait, Donald Trump is up in Florida by, I believe, 18 votes.
Well,
Oh,
then,
that's 28 votes, John.
28 votes. I'm bad at math.
well, then,
3,983,244 to 3,983,216.
That
That's
is-
unbelievable.
That's less than a bus.
and at this 4 million, add Gary Johnson, we're over 4 million votes. There were only over 8 million. They only voted there were 8.4 million last time in 2012. So
we already have more than
they're close to, not quite, but
Yeah.
they're clearly going to blow past.
So,
with all
this
the-
we're doing this live coverage here. It's 8:20 p.m. Eastern as this is happening. Florida again on a razor's edge. And if Trump does win it, you should be super glad that that legislation passed about pot because you're gonna have to smoke some serious weed tonight. Okay, and old World War II reference here. Smoke them if you got them. And we know here in California, once it becomes legal for medicinal purposes, all of a sudden everybody's got a lot of back pain. Okay, so in effect, now pot legal in Florida, and tonight we might make it legal in California, period, for recreational use, in which case I think we've broken the camel's back. I think pot is going to be legal across the country, and we've passed a tipping point. And this should not be understated. We won. So this is an issue, and I don't want to call it too early for the whole country, and it's still a Schedule I drug federally, which is unbelievable. And because of the results of the 8 ballot measures or 9 ballot measures today about marijuana, most of which are going to win, Barack Obama, before he leaves office, should immediately declare that it is no longer a Schedule I drug.
And keep in mind what the DEA did 4 or 5 months ago, which to me was a massive sign of, okay, we go slow, we're the federal government, but they opened it up for more research, and they were like, and we'll start looking at it.
Yeah.
Well, they left it
That
on
was BS,
schedule.
though. That was BS because if it's a Schedule I drug, in order to do research on it, it really, really hinders
No, I know, but so
scientific
they-
research.
I get it.
The researchers have to go to the federal government and beg them to do the research. And if they say yes, they have to get the weed from one specific place. Oftentimes, the federal government says no because it's a Schedule I drug and it's too dangerous, and we don't want you to do the research.
Right, but
So-
theoretically, that rule was to make it easier for them to get it. Well, it struck
Yeah.
me as the kind of thing governments do as they begin a slow unwinding, and then the voting of people in 9 states is more powerful than that. So I'm just guessing that I don't know whether Obama will do it, but it's coming.
Yeah, and it's a classic Obama thing. Like Ben's right, that's a good first step. You've got a couple of months left. What are we talking about first step for? And it's such a classic Democratic thing to do too. Oh, the whole country's on our side? I will now slowly move in that direction. Get there already, get there. The Republicans unjustly criticized Barack Obama for leading from behind in foreign policy. Actually, on progressive issues like gay marriage and marijuana legalization, that's where Barack Obama actually leads from behind. Look, the whole country's almost there already. For God's sake, you've got a couple of months left. It's not Schedule I. You know it's not Schedule I. Move already. Move. Make the move. Okay, so look, guys. Trump's taking the lead in Florida. It's 61% reporting. It's not just 28 votes anymore. It's a percentage. 49-48 Trump in Florida.
It's 48.6 to 48.4. It's 0.2 of a
No, it says 49-48 then. And when you round up and you round down, that seems larger. Okay?
I got you. It's
You have more accurate and complete information, but I'm in mid-panic, so I have no mood for that.
I got
okay?
you. It's
Hey,
14.
75,000.
So, but you know what's funny is that
75,000.
That's 75,000 is how many people are watching right now?
Eric Wallace sent a screenshot. Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
So Ohio,
can I see 100,000? Sharing is scary. It's a share-a-thon. Give me a share package. Okay, send it around. We're going to break the record. We're going to go to 100,000 viewers. We're going to beat TV. Go. Okay. Yes, Jimmy.
No, I'm just looking at the result. It's Texas is blue and Ohio is blue.
Texas is below 1%,
Too early,
though.
too early.
So.
But Ohio,
Yeah, Ohio's
Ohio's
Oh,
got
Texas is
16%
all red.
reporting. So let me be clear. Okay, let's give you percentages. Ohio's 16% reporting. Hillary Clinton with a 52-45 lead. Okay, now, I don't want to take anything to the bank. In Ohio, it was polling in Trump's direction, so hold on.
and Ron Portman won.
And, oh, did he?
Who won?
Portman won his.
In the Senate. Yeah, well, that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so on the other hand, if it was reversed and Trump had a 7-point lead with 16% reporting, I'd be panicking. So, so a little bit of good news out of Ohio.
And the great thing about Ohio, and
Oh, Pennsylvania numbers are in. Oh, it's less than 1% reporting. Oh, thanks, God.
he's up 239 to 51.
Because on my screen, it's 81%
Yeah.
to
To
17%. I'm like, oh, Wheezy, I'm coming to join you, Wheezy.
It's literally a couple hundred votes.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And
it's
in
bullshit.
Pennsylvania, and I hope in Ohio that as with so many states, she's up 100,000 votes. With we're already at 1.7 million in Ohio. Ohio's got the most big cities of any state in the country. They just roll big city after big city, and hopefully those cities will come in for Clinton. There's some Michigan numbers in too. They're crazy early as well, but Clinton up slightly there.
Okay, and of course, Ohio's famous Cuyahoga County, not in yet. We're all waiting on Cuyahoga County. So that'll happen in this election, too. That happens in every single election. Okay, New Hampshire, 8% reporting, 53-42 Hillary. North Carolina, 9% reporting, 52-46 Hillary.
Yeah, and also, again,
And one has early voting.
It's way more than 9%. They're already over half of what voted in 2000.
So that number in North Carolina is real. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, but it is a real number. Hillary Clinton leading by 6 points in North Carolina. So these are nowhere near a call, but here we go. No.
God.
Virginia, 51% reporting now over the midpoint, 52-44 Donald Trump.
He's still holding that lead.
He's holding the lead in
Yeah,
Virginia.
she's going to win Virginia. I just don't see a way that's possible, especially given some of these other results.
Good thing she picked Tim Kaine then.
Well, we might say that by the end of the night, to be fair.
Wait,
we might.
who is that?
Yeah.
So as we look at the board here, if
51
you're going to be worried, just to finish the thought on Virginia, if there's any state not to panic over, it is Virginia, because Northern Virginia comes in later. Northern Virginia is heavily Democratic. So that is the one that is most likely to move in favor of Hillary Clinton late. So if that was the same numbers at 54% reporting and Trump with an 8-point lead in Florida, I'd be totally panicking.
Check the numbers in Pennsylvania now. Just read the percentages. Just read them.
81-18. Hillary Clinton! She's taking the lead!
She switched it completely.
Yeah,
Now 80-17. Now up 81-18.
Okay.
Why didn't
Here
nobody
comes
warn us?
Hillary!
So literally, they counted like 1,000 votes, and Hillary got all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I
Voter
saw
fraud.
returns from D.C.
Don't start.
and Trump was at 2.7% in D.C.
Is that right?
That's
Which, by the way, in terms of symbolism, that's perfect.
No.
That Hillary Clinton has 95% of the vote in D.C.
I hear he's going to be tremendous with his African Americans.
That's tremendous.
Okay, I think he's going to be tremendous. Okay. Ohio, 19% reporting now. 51-45. 6-point lead for Hillary Clinton. Still holding the lead in Ohio. So, yes, we're going to continue to read a lot of numbers at you guys because these are super important states.
Texas just flipped back blue. Like they
Texas back to blue.
Texas back to blue.
How many? What percentage reporting?
49-46 with 1% in. But again, there's no way that's 1%. There's 3.5 million votes. Like that's not 1%.
No.
There aren't 350 million people in Texas voting.
I wonder why.
It's probably also not going to be blue. But.
Yeah.
No, of course not. I'm just amusing
They've
us.
got a lot
That
of
is amazing,
immigration,
that is
Ben. They might hit 350.
54% reporting in Virginia. Every percentage makes it less likely for the comeback. 8-point lead still for Trump.
I'll
holding
give you
that
the
lead.
I know a lot of people.
137,000 votes for her to catch up with in Virginia.
Electoral College right now, 60-44. Donald Trump has retaken the lead from Hillary Clinton. That part is totally irrelevant.
So he got a 9-stater. Who did they Who did they call? Alabama.
Oh, my
Following,
God,
we didn't
I
declare.
can't-
We didn't declare Tennessee, but now Alabama has gone.
Tennessee and Alabama have gone to Donald Trump. This is devastating news / irrelevant.
Let me give you some more news. Gary Johnson is now at 3% of the popular vote nationwide. Jill Stein, 0.6%. Doesn't look good if she's going to get that 5%, but maybe a lot of that's going to
California
come
might
from
be big.
California and the safer states.
Because we already have medicinal marijuana.
California, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, the safer states haven't come in yet, so let's
Maybe
see.
Jill
Oh,
Stein
Oregon
thought it
alone.
was,
Portland alone will get her to 5% nationally.
I think Jill Stein thought it was 0.5%. She's
Yeah.
going to be super bummed out tomorrow morning.
Sweet Home Alabama is Sweet Home from Donald Trump. I believe I'm going to Alabama in January, so I'm bringing hell with me. So Alabama, you fucked up, okay?
You're going to Alabama?
Yeah.
What for?
I'm going to Birmingham,
Oh.
and then I might go to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
May
Okay.
I jump in?
Go, Anna.
All right, so we have some results for ballot measures in Massachusetts. So they have voted overwhelmingly to expand charter schools in the state of Massachusetts. 65.1. I'm sorry to not.
Oh, good. Oh.
Why is she's fucking with us now.
All right, I apologize.
like the
They
Kurt
voted
Schilling.
no on expanding charter schools in Massachusetts. Also, legalize marijuana. They would legalize and regulate and tax marijuana for recreational use. So now in the state of Massachusetts, marijuana is legal.
Yes!
51.1% said
Yeah.
yes. 48.9% said no.
So
Wow,
that's-
that was
I thought it was
close.
Very
medicinal.
close.
This is
Recreational, yeah.
Recreational use, not
Which
medicinal.
means that if
That's
you went
awesome.
to Yukon like I did, you now not only will be driving every week into Massachusetts for liquor, but also to get weed. So
Okay,
that's cool.
and by the way, I'm coming. So for Young Turks on Fusion, I'm going to Massachusetts next Monday. So within a week, I'll be getting high with you guys at Harvard.
Oh, that is amazing. I don't think the law kicks in the
They're
thing.
setting that industry up fast. aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, I could also bring my own supply from California. Okay. Anyway, great day for pot. Great day for pot. Great. You know what it is actually though? It's a great day for freedom. Okay. Freedom isn't free, but it just got a little freer today. Okay. Anyway.
76 to 24% in Pennsylvania.
Okay, Hillary Clinton with the lead. Okay, now real numbers, real numbers.
No
okay.
real numbers there.
Okay, Virginia. Here comes Hillary. 55% reporting. The lead is down from 8 to 7. Here comes Northern Virginia.
She was
Here
down
comes Northern Virginia.
135,000 when we last spoke. It's 131,000.
Okay, now Florida.
And you're seeing their Johnson sign also.
Florida, super real numbers. 68% reporting. 49-48 Trump. Okay, still super tight.
Except by
And-
about
and-
100, a little less than 100,000 votes.
Yep.
64,000 votes.
Okay.
Yep. So leaning red right now, but not a big deal. Okay, now good news is Georgia has not been called yet. Okay, so it's only 34 minutes since it closed, but it's not, and we knew this. It's not an Alabama, South Carolina situation. Some have it as a swing state, so Georgia's not called yet. That's slightly good news. On the other hand, Kansas and Missouri are not called yet. And
But
they're
they've-
definitely
they-
going to
Sure,
go
but
to
they haven't
Trump.
been closed nearly as long.
As Georgia, that's right.
real-
Georgia's been closed. Let me just give, sorry, Ben, because that's a great point by you. Georgia's been closed since 7 o'clock
Yeah.
Eastern, and it still has not been called, so that's good news.
Tammy
Apparently-
Duckworth elected to the United States.
Yeah, there we go. Tammy
Oh,
Duckworth.
yeah,
Okay.
nice.
Got that before?
Some early results from Maine, and I don't know how early this is. It's Trump 2, Clinton nothing.
That's pretty early.
Pretty early in
No,
Maine.
not 2 million, not 2,000, just 2.
2 nothing. 2
Oh my God,
votes
that is
to no
excellent.
votes.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got him now up in Maine. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to give you one more thing here. By the way, right now, you want to talk about early results. Mississippi leaning Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Although,
I
that's
have
early.
I have a call.
We have a
I
call.
have a call. Okay, so if you could bring up graphic 43B. I do this mostly for the suspense. It's not going to be hugely surprising to them, but 43B. Todd Young defeating Evan Bayh
Wow,
You
good
know.
in
riddance.
Indiana.
So look, this is a situation where I'm with Jimmy. The famous Hill or High Water debates of these many weeks and maybe even months, where you say the corporatist Democrats are more dangerous. I don't agree when it's against Donald Trump on a national scale. On a senator like Evan Bayh, I agree. Because Evan Bayh comes in and goes, no, it's okay. I'm a liberal, which is totally bullshit. And says, let's cut tax on corporations, let's do the crony capitalism, let's do all the giveaways, let's do the trade deals. And he gives them a veneer of centrism, which they should not have. So it's a Democrat that gives a stamp of approval to almost every Republican position. So fuck Evan Bayh, and I'm super glad he lost. Good riddance to it.
I'm not sure I'll agree with you if Democrats don't win the Senate, but I hear you. The points are salient, and what irritates me more than Evan Bayh losing a seat that 2 weeks ago, and certainly 2 months ago, thought like a surefire Democratic pickup. It was in the is that I desperately 3 weeks ago wanted to bet on Young. Desperately wanted to try because I knew maybe the odds were still good, and it just seemed so clear to me that he was going to win.
I mean, so I know that as these Senate returns have been coming in, the chances of the Democrats taking over the Senate have dropped by like 8 points or 9 points or something like that. I mean, the quality of the Supreme Court justices that we can get is dropping before our eyes right now. Like theoretically, if Hillary Clinton wins, then she'll still get somebody, but there'll probably be more moderate choices or something like that to try to get the crazy Republicans to actually approve them. And then that will have trickle-down effects on Supreme Court verdicts for decades from now.
So,
and we're watching that.
Let me give you a quick update, and then I want to build on what John just said. So North Carolina's tightened a little bit. Hillary Clinton down to a 4-point lead, just 11% reporting though, but
it's not.
But with not just 11% because it's got early voting in there too. So 51-47 is a real number, and she is up by 4 in North Carolina. So that is definitely good news on that front. By the way, Ohio now 20% reporting, and Hillary Clinton's still leading by 4, 50-46. So that's all good numbers. Now Florida, 69% plus early voting in, and he's still holding on to a 1 percentage lead. Trump is.
He's moved up to 56, about an 81,000 vote lead there in Florida. Pennsylvania is pointless right now. Again, one to watch. We always thought one to watch. New Hampshire, for some, I thought they'd have literally counted it all. It's such a small state. But again, an indication, and we see Hillary Clinton right now up 11 points in New Hampshire. And if that were to hold, and she were to win by 11 points in New Hampshire, I would just feel supremely confident because this isn't comparing Pakistan to Ecuador. Like, if New Hampshire voters think this way, Pennsylvania is like 350 miles away. Like, they don't live in totally different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So I would feel confident about Pennsylvania. And of course, Donald Trump really needs to win Pennsylvania, needs to pull an upset in a state, in a blue state, Pennsylvania or Michigan, and win and have the run of the swing states that he needs. So New Hampshire, one, would deny Trump those 4 electoral votes and would be a sign of good things to come.
And so
But
remember,
it's good counting slow.
If you give any credence to my theories and speculation, okay, let's put it this way. Forget what I think. If it's a super close race, it's possible that New Hampshire makes all the difference. So in my map, she loses Florida, which she's now down by 1, but she wins Pennsylvania and Colorado and Virginia. But even so, she needs New Hampshire to put her over the top. But I have her losing Nevada. So she needs either Nevada or New Hampshire to put her over the top. That's why
I feel like it's going to happen.
Okay.
And Trump, because Trump wins New Hampshire, it's great. He still needs Nevada. I mean, it's just the path for Donald Trump is so much harder than the path for Hillary Clinton. But and that's why we're also interested in Florida, not because a loss from Florida is devastating for Clinton, but a loss for Trump in Florida pretty much slams the door.
ABC News is calling the House.
For the Democrats?
No, actually.
libertarians?
No, it's the Reform Party. The Constitution Party, Reform Party they're gonna form an alliance. No, it's gonna be the Republicans are going to maintain control of the House, which we sort of expected.
Yeah,
it was only ever a dream we whispered of for a brief period, and it's not gonna happen.
So that was the brief period when Hillary Clinton was surging to double-digit leads, and that did not last long at all. But here I'm going to quote Michael Schur as the expert. He thinks that the Democrats can pick up 14 seats in the House, which would not be enough to flip the House, and we know that that's already gone. it's not just that it's ABC News that called it. We knew that going into the election. But still picking up seats makes a difference.
Yeah.
And it would be great if, and we'll update you at the end, obviously, how many seats they picked up.
And if the gap
any.
between the Republicans and the Democrats in the House is not that large in this era of bipartisanship on the merits of certain issues, then, some Republicans flip over and sometimes the Democrats win, sometimes the Republicans win.
By the way, we were.
Isn't it crazy? We just expect that obviously in the House, every single vote will be party lines. Doesn't matter what the issue is. No one thinks independent of their party in the House. It's amazing.
Well, they drew the districts that way. Anna mentioned when we were feeling particularly blue, even though we acknowledged that there was really nothing to feel blue about. We were still down. Anna mentioned Patrick Leahy's win in Vermont, and then we all had a good laugh, saying he might have even been unopposed. He had an opponent.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Scott Milne defeated by Patrick Leahy. So once again, we earned that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Milne, take that. All right, let me give you the latest numbers here. Now 70% plus early voting in Florida, still a 1-point lead for Trump. Virginia still a 7-point lead for Trump with nope. Here comes Northern Virginia. It happened as I was speaking. 5-point lead now, down to a 5-point lead for Trump. In Virginia was 63% reporting.
117,000. It was like 137, 131. Then it went up to 165, and now dropped to 117.
Can I give us some good news in Florida?
Nope.
Okay,
cool.
but just,
No worries.
okay, I just wanted to scream, here comes Fairfax County! Okay, go ahead.
Well, so I'm obviously trying to figure out what's happening in Florida, and so I'm going down to the county level, and almost all of Miami-Dade is in, like 10% is remaining, where
Right.
she has a 30-point advantage.
In
When you go to-
Miami-Dade?
In Miami-Dade. In
but
Broward County, where she has an
Broward,
even
she
larger
did even
advantage,
better, right?
they're only 15%
Yeah,
in.
Broward has got a ton of votes
And
out.
Palm Beach, where she's up by 20 points, is only a little bit over half in.
So there's a lot
And
of
that's
votes.
probably going to swamp the Bayou. It's going to swamp the swamp, is what I'm basically
A
saying.
lot of votes coming in
drain
for
that
Hillary
swamp.
Clinton.
Drain it.
A lot of votes coming in for Hillary Clinton in Broward County. No question. So-
That makes me feel so good. Especially Miami-Dade, where, Cenk touched on it earlier, where there is a Cuban population that leans heavily Republican.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has been so hideous to Latino voters that I think some of them might have switched their vote for a Democrat.
And in Broward County, which is, as I said, only about 15% in, she has this huge lead of like 40 points. She has over 200,000 more votes than him. So she could
250,
gain, theoretically, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more votes just from that one county.
Okay, now I'm going to go to North Carolina, where Hillary Clinton's lead is down to 3 points, 50 to 47. That's 13% plus early voting, so that's a real number. Her lead beginning to go down a little bit, but still holding, so that's good news. The Ohio lead for Hillary Clinton down to 2 points, so that one is really dwindling, with 22% reporting 49-47 Hillary Clinton. So if I'm looking at this map, right now, you told me, hey, Cenk, it's 8:44 Eastern. Here's your map. What do you think of it? If you told me this yesterday, a week ago, etc., I'd look at this map and go, oh, that's not as good as I would want or hope for, but I like this better if I'm Hillary Clinton than if I'm Donald Trump, right? If I'm Donald Trump and I need these states, and I'm still losing by 2 in North Carolina, I'm losing by 9 in New Hampshire. New Hampshire's not enough reporting. I'm down by 5 I'm up by 5 in Virginia with Northern Virginia to come. I'm up by 1 in Florida, but I've got Broward and Dade and all those to come. I go, this is not good enough. On the other hand, Hillary Clinton has not put them away yet.
Again, there's no putting away. They're counting.
Yeah, no, agree to disagree.
I'm also looking at Virginia.
Count faster and slash if she. But look, let's put it this way. It's 8:45 now. Right now, it doesn't look like a landslide.
No. Yeah,
I said it. I said it. How do you count?
No, it's out there.
Oh,
No, it's
also,
not.
interesting tweet, a little historical reminder, and then afterward, I would love to hear more about ballot initiatives. In 2012, Obama gained nearly 30,000 votes in Florida after election night. In 2008, he gained over 40,000. So
Like
theoretically, if we wanted to have an Al Gore, George W. Bush situation,
Yeah. I
Could be
mean,
a big
what I hope is that we have to Florida. They don't declare Florida for 2 days, and
Doesn't
it's a
matter.
big debate whether Hillary ends up with 323 or 293. You know, and that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're.
And Florida since it's got 29 electoral college votes, it by itself can swing the perception of the election from close to a landslide.
That's right.
Right? Because, to take it from, I mean, let's call it 30 points, like 280, which by damn, that was kind of a close election, to 310. Oh man, she killed him, right? So that's a big, big difference. Okay, a couple more updates for you guys. Now, TYT updates. We're at about 80,000 viewers. Okay, you're so close to 100,000. So sharing is caring. Share on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, share and embed and send the links on YouTube. Okay, if we get to 100,000, 100 baseball caps to randomly chosen among the people who shared. Okay, will we look at how much you shared and tilt the scales? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes elections are rigged. I can't tell. Okay.
By the way, we missed a call.
Oh, call right away. Go.
Rhode Island.
We got Rhode Island on the map. Well, wait. You didn't say Hillary, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, Rhode Island. I made it 60 to 48.
It actually went for Evan McMullen.
Okay. Here comes Hillary. 60 to 48, closing in on. All right. I think this is a good moment. Anna's going to give us a ballot. Is it real quick? Eric Goldstein and Thomas Grossman are the members of the day. How do you like that? You guys are the members of the day on the day where we have the most amount of people watching. Member number 1309 and 1310. Members make this entire thing happen. Be the independent media. tytnetwork.com/join. Do it now. Anna, ballot measure.
Okay,
go.
first I have to correct myself because I made a huge mistake and I apologize. So when I mentioned the ballot initiatives in Massachusetts, all the votes aren't in yet. Now, charter schools are very unlikely to get expanded based on the huge lead that the no vote has. It's still like in the high 60s. But all the votes aren't in. Medical marijuana still has a very, very tight lead for legalization. So I just want
So
to
it's
put
not
that.
over.
Yeah, it's not over. I apologize. I'm so sorry I made that mistake. But
And is it medical or recreational?
recreational marijuana in Massachusetts.
Recreational, okay.
Based on the polling, it's still likely to pass, but I'll give you the final outcome later when more votes are in. Now, with that said, we still have some more results. These are very early results that I think are interesting. Oklahoma is likely to pass a death penalty ballot initiative that basically allows them.
You don't even have to be convicted of a crime.
No. I mean, they would probably like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But basically, there's this huge brouhaha in Oklahoma about using controversial methods to carry out the executions, right? So there were a bunch of high-profile cases where this one man was injected with the drug, and then he was just suffering for 45 minutes before he finally died of a heart attack. And so this ballot initiative allows the state to continue doing these very questionable executions without having to worry about, legislators looking at the method that they're doing and deciding whether or not it's cruel and unusual punishment. So that's going to pass in Oklahoma based on what we're seeing now. I'm predicting it's going to pass.
Okay. All right, we got to take the break here, guys. So we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. We'll have the new closings when we come back. Trump still with a 1-point lead in Florida with 74% reporting. Trump with a 5-point lead still with 69% reporting in Virginia. Hillary Clinton's lead down to 2 points in North Carolina and Ohio, 17% plus early voting in North Carolina. Ohio, 25% reporting. So this thing is, right now, it's not over. And every minute that we go forward, so if you told me at 8:49 p.m. it's not yet over, I wouldn't have been happy about that. So it's not like it's bad, but it's not good either.
But there was no way it was going to be over at this
Sure,
point.
they could have called.
No, but they don't call
The
them
last
like
few
that.
elections
They
have
don't,
all
they-
been between 11 and 11:30,
Yeah, they don't.
basically.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
Eastern
Not buying
time.
it.
But there's nothing not to buy. It's true. Like
I
they-
just said it. It's out there now. I'm not buying it.
Please buy it. I need to sell it.
Do we have time for one quick fact? I think this is fascinating based on the joke that I just made before. In Virginia,
You made
currently,
a joke earlier?
Okay, we gotta go.
Okay, Donald Trump is currently up by like 6 points or whatever. Gary Johnson's at 2.9 in Virginia, but in Virginia, Evan McMullin's at 1.3%.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
he's
that's
taken 30,000 votes.
Okay.
That's
That could
amazing.
make a big
In
difference.
Virginia.
Big
Yes.
difference. Okay, guys.
Oh, it's probably CIA employees.
Okay. By the way, we're at 85,000 when you combine the streams. Okay, we're so close. Can we see 100,000? Sharing is caring. We'll be right back on the Young Turks with more results.